Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Arctic Pupper Show. I am your host, Arctic Ghost, and I do not really feel well, so excuse me if I have a bit of a raspy voice while doing this. So I was going to bring you another Tron deck, but the one that I'm working on, I don't feel like I have enough effort put into it, and so I don't feel comfortable bringing it to you yet. But this is another deck that I have been working on a little bit. Oh, I forgot to change that. Let me just do that while talking to you. So, this is a white-green tokens deck, similar to um, the red-green tokens deck, but this deck is a Deluxekoff design, meaning that it's basically like the white-green Midnight Guard deck, but it has a few touches that he also put into it. Sorry, I'm really not feeling well. And so I was playing around with it a little bit, and I feel the deck is actually pretty good. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Um, so, more or less, uh, this deck is pretty much what it sounds like. It is green-white tokens, but it splashes red for Rally the Peasants. You have Holdout Settlement, and you have one Boros Garrison. You also have a basic mountain to go get with Ashburns. So, without further ado, we'll break this deck down piece by piece, and we'll go through it. As far as the creatures go, you have Benevolent Bodyguard because it's kind of a counterspell against removal, and it's a good one-drop. You have 8 Soul Sisters, the whole 8. So you have Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant. Your aggro matchup because of these women are pretty good, especially because you have the combo in this deck, so you can effectively gain infinite life, and your bird matchup, your goblin matchup, your stomping matchup. Once you get to do that, they pretty much cannot win at that point anymore. But I will get to some stuff later. And then you have Midnight Guard. This guy's pretty good because he can combo with Battle Screech, of course, but also he is the half of the combo with Presence of Gond. Presence of Gond, of course, is the stupid combo where it's kind of like Splinter Twin in a way. You basically attach Presence of Gond to Midnight Guard. You tap him to put a token into play, and because of his ability, he untaps, so you can do it infinitely. One bad thing about this deck is that you cannot give the tokens haste, so you can't really win the turn that they come out. But in Pauper, that shouldn't really matter all that much. I will get to some stuff after the whole Decktech, but yeah, that's basically the combo. That's the whole combo, is those 2 cards. So he's also a 2/3, so he's pretty good at attacking. Onto the token cards, you have Sen's Enlistment, because at some point when you get to, like, I would say 5 lands to play, you don't really need too many more lands. So Sen's Enlistment, of course, is really good. It gives you late game. You have Battle Screech, because it's Battle Screech. There's not really much else to it. It's just a great card. And you have Presence of Gond. And of course, I just explained what Presence of Gond does, so take that for what you will. Your game-winning spell is pretty much Rally the Peasants, if you have to rely on that. Of course, when you're creating infinite tokens, it doesn't really make a difference, but Rally the Peasants allows you to win the game quickly when you're just creating a bunch of tokens with Sen's Enlistment or Battle Screech. You have Prismatic Strands to help you against Electrickery, or, any of those types of effects. Electrickery, of course, is a problem for this deck. You do also have Spiral Silk Armor, which also makes the Delver matchup a bit better. That's why it's in the main deck, I think. At least that's what I've found. Also, making all of your guys 1/2s makes it a bit better for the combat, but you get that point. With so many people running main deck Electrickery, Spiral Silk Armor is also a necessity. The good thing about Prismatic Strands, of course, is that not only does it help against Electrickery, but it's a fog. It's 2 fogs in 1, and it's a counter spell for removal base damage, like or base damage removal, I should have said, like Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash, things like that. So yeah, as you can already tell before I go any further, Nausea and Electrickery are big problems for this deck, but that's where Spiral Silk Armor comes in to help. You only really need one of them. If your opponent draws 2 nauseas, you just have to accept it and play around it. The good thing is that 1 electric or 1 nausea isn't going to actually win your opponent the game if it successfully gets cast, because you can just next turn make a bunch of tokens anyway, so it doesn't really make a whole difference. So keep that in mind. Echoing Decay would be the biggest problem for this deck. If I was really going to say what really blows this deck out of the water is maybe like Echoing Decay. Of course, Avantgarde's Justice can also be a problem, which gets around Spark's Armor, but you have Prismatic Strands for that, so that's not really a big deal. And then Commune with the Gods just kind of, rounds it out. It's your tutor for Midnight Guard, a Benevolent Bodyguard, your Spire Silk Armor, or your Presence Gone. And the cool thing is you could put a Prismatic Strands, or Battle Screech, or Sense Enlistment, or Rally the Peasants into the graveyard, and you're still getting value off of it. So that's the whole main deck. The main deck is pretty much straight line. It does what it wants to do. It's quite consistent. The mana base is pretty straightforward. You have 1 forest and 1 mountain to go get with Ash Barrens, as you're primarily a white-based deck. You have 4 plains. You do have 4 Karus. The Burrow's Garrison is good because it helps you with Rally the Peasants, and then you have 3 Celestial Sanctuary. You have 4 Blossoming Sands as your dual lands. You have 4 Colony Garden, which makes your Burrow's Garrison and your Celestial Sanctuaries even better. And then you have a Holdout Settlement to also help with your colors. These I have not found to really be too good, but they're certainly not bad. They've certainly helped me win a few games, so I just left them in. And then in the sideboard, you have 4 Aerial Volley against Delver, 4 Journey to Nowhere against any big dudes. I don't think that he was playing Tormentor, but I put them in just in case you play against decks where you actually need to bring back Presence of Gone from the grave or Spire Silk Armor, so that's just kind of why it's there. A 3rd Prismatic Strands just in case, and then 1 Ray of Revelation. The Ray of Revelation is really just theirs as a fill. The Boggles matchup is really not all that difficult. I mean, Boggles, other than bringing in, enchantment removal, if you can catch them without it, of course, once you gain enough life, they can't really beat you. Now, that can go 2 ways because they can also gain a bunch of life, and of course, making infinite tokens on Magic Online is kind of hard because, you do have time. Some opponents are not going to just give you the win, things like that. And also, Prismatic Strands makes the Boggle matchup, pretty good as well, so you want to keep that in mind. So that's the deck. It's pretty stock, the main deck. I don't think I'd change anything as far as right now, unless you have different strategies. Maybe you feel you don't need Rally the Peasants and things of that sort. The sideboard is a bit of a work in progress. It's possible that maybe 4 Aerial Volley is too much. It's also possible that Auramancer's not needed. It's possible the Ray of Revelation should have a second copy. You get the point. So I'm going to take this into a couple test matches. You're going to see how consistent or inconsistent this deck is. You can see how it runs. You can see how it typically draws and whatnot. And I'll come back with my verdict on it. We'll see what I think. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole deck tech. So thanks for watching. I'll see you back in just a little bit.